Welcome, chosen ones. Chosen ones, it's time to find out the real cause of your birth. If you found this message, it's not by accident. You were led here for a reason. Deep down, you've always known you were different. You've felt the weight of something bigger than yourself. A purpose, a calling, a responsibility that most people don't understand. But the real question is, do you understand it? This isn't just another motivational speech. This is a wake-up call. If you've been feeling lost, frustrated, or misunderstood, it's because your life isn't meant to follow the ordinary path. The struggles you faced weren't pointless. They were designed to prepare you. The isolation, the setbacks, the moments of doubt, all of it was part of something greater. You might have spent years looking for answers, waiting for a sign, or hoping that someday things will make sense. But the truth is, clarity doesn't come from waiting. It comes from recognition. You have to recognize who you truly are, why you were placed on this earth, and what you're meant to do with the gifts inside you. This message will challenge you. It will force you to see things differently. But if you stay until the end, you'll walk away with something far more valuable than just inspiration. You'll gain the understanding you need to step fully into your purpose. So don't ignore this. Don't scroll past it. Stay, listen, and open your heart. Because once you hear the truth, you won't be able to unsee it. Number 1. Your pain was the blueprint, not the punishment. Pain has a way of making you question everything. Your worth, your purpose, even your existence. It can feel like the universe has singled you out for suffering, while others seem to live easier lives. But what if I told you that every hardship, every betrayal, every heartbreak was not a punishment, but a design? Think about it. Have you ever noticed that the people who carry the most wisdom, the most strength, the most depth are the ones who have endured the most? That's not a coincidence. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Gold isn't purified without fire. And a true leader, a true chosen one, isn't made without struggle. Every time you were rejected, abandoned, or overlooked, it wasn't a mistake. It was a carving process. You were being shaped into something rare, something precise, something only a few can become. The deeper your pain, the more intricate the design. If your life has been filled with difficulties, it means you are being prepared for something most people aren't strong enough to handle. Look at the patterns of your life. The times you thought you wouldn't survive, but you did. The moments you felt broken beyond repair, yet somehow you kept going. You are still here, not because you got lucky, but because you are built differently. The world tries to convince you that suffering is a curse, that pain is proof of failure. But the truth is, pain is proof of transformation. It breaks down the weak parts of you, the doubt, the fear, the need for validation, so that what remains is something unshakable. You were never being destroyed, you were being refined. The version of you that existed before the pain could not fulfill your purpose. That version was too soft, too unsure, too willing to shrink for the comfort of others. But the version of you that emerged from the pain, that version is unstoppable. So now the question is, will you keep seeing your pain as a burden, or will you recognize it for what it truly is? A blueprint, a map, a sign that you are being molded into something greater. Most people will never understand this. They will run from struggle, complain about hardship, and resent their suffering. But you are different. You're chosen. And chosen ones are not given an easy road. They are given a path that forces them to rise. So stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this shaping me to become? Because when you finally see your pain for what it is, everything changes. Number 2, you have an unfair advantage. Chaos is your teacher. Most people spend their lives avoiding chaos. They fear uncertainty. They run from hardship. They cling to comfort like a life raft. But you are different. You don't just survive storms. You study them. You extract their secrets. While others panic, you adapt. While they break, you evolve. This is your unfair advantage. You weren't designed to thrive in predictable, controlled environments. That's why traditional systems, schools, jobs, social expectations have always felt restrictive to you. They were built for people who need structure to function, who need rules to follow. But you You were built for something much bigger, something that can't be contained by ordinary boundaries. When life throws chaos your way, it's not trying to destroy you, it's educating you. It's revealing truths that most people will never see because they're too busy running from the lesson. Chaos has been your greatest teacher, showing you the flaws in systems, the weaknesses in people, and most importantly, the depth of your own strength. Think about the times you were forced into uncertainty, when nothing made sense, when everything seemed to be falling apart. What happened? You adapted. You found solutions. You saw opportunities where others only saw obstacles. That wasn't luck. That was your nature at work. This is why you can't be controlled the way others can. You don't rely on the illusion of stability because you know that real power comes from being able to stand firm even when nothing is stable. The world belongs to those who can navigate chaos, and that's exactly what you've been trained for. So the next time life throws you into the unknown, don't resist it. Lean in, observe, learn, because while others are waiting for order to return, you'll already be 5 steps ahead, creating your own. Or, number 3, you are a threat to those who benefit from the status quo. Have you ever wondered why, no matter how pure your intentions are, you still face resistance? Why people misunderstand you, envy you, or try to bring you down, even when you've done nothing to deserve it? It's because your existence alone is a disruption. You don't even have to try. Your presence, your mindset, your very energy shakes the foundations of what is considered normal. And that terrifies those who are invested in keeping things the same. The world is built on comfort, routine, and compliance. Most people are conditioned to follow, not to question. They are rewarded for blending in, for accepting limitations, for playing by rules they never wrote. But you were never built to conform. You see beyond the surface. You challenge ideas. You refuse to accept things simply because that's the way it's always been. And that makes you a problem for those who profit from ignorance and stagnation. Weak minds will call you arrogant. They will say you are too much, too intense, too rebellious. But understand this. When people are confronted with someone who refuses to settle for mediocrity, they only have 2 choices: rise to meet them or tear them down. And most will choose the latter because it's easier. But here's the truth. Their resistance is proof of your power. If you were truly insignificant, no one would care. The fact that people react so strongly to your presence means you matter. Your voice, your perspective, your very being is a force of disruption. And that's exactly why you can't afford to shrink yourself. You weren't sent here to be agreeable, to be accepted, or to make people comfortable. You were sent here to wake them up, whether they like it or not. Number 4, your soul signed a contract before you arrived. You are not here by accident. You are not wandering through life without direction. Long before you took your first breath, your soul made an agreement, a contract, a mission, a purpose that was written into your very existence. Whether you remember it or not, deep down you feel it. That quiet restlessness, that unshakable sense that you were meant for something more. That's not imagination. That's your contract calling you. The problem is, most people spend their entire lives running from it. They distract themselves with routines, with meaningless obligations, with empty pursuits that keep them numb. But no matter how hard they try to ignore it, the calling doesn't go away. It lingers. It whispers in their moments of stillness. And for those who resist too long, it turns into something worse, a feeling of suffocation, of emptiness, of being trapped in a life that doesn't fit. If you've ever felt lost, unfulfilled, or like you're constantly searching for something but don't know what, it's because you've been avoiding the very thing your soul came here to do. Your assignment is not something you choose, it's something you remember. And the longer you delay, the heavier life feels. But here's the truth. The moment you accept your purpose, everything shifts. The confusion fades, the weight lifts. The obstacles that once seemed impossible suddenly make sense because they were never meant to stop you. They were meant to prepare you. So stop waiting for permission. Stop doubting what you already know deep inside. Your soul did not come here clueless. It came with a mission. And until you fulfill it, nothing else will ever feel complete. Number 4, you are wired to withstand isolation because you must walk alone first. There's a reason you felt different your whole life, a reason why, no matter how many people surround you, there's always been a part of you that feels separate. You've watched others find belonging so easily, yet for you, connection has always felt temporary, like you were meant to stand on the edges rather than be lost in the crowd. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a punishment. It was preparation. You were never meant to blend in because you were never meant to be one of them. The path of a chosen one begins in solitude. You had to be stripped of external validation, forced to navigate life without constant approval, so that when you finally step into your power, you do so from truth, not from the need to be liked. Most people build their identities around acceptance. They shape their beliefs, their actions, even their dreams, based on what others approve of. But not you. You were made to lead. And true leadership isn't about fitting in. It's about standing alone when necessary. It's about making decisions based on wisdom, not popularity. The loneliness you've endured has been a training ground. It taught you self-reliance. It forced you to confront yourself, to hear your own voice without the noise of the crowd. And now, when you rise, you will rise unshaken, because your foundation was never built on the fleeting opinions of others. So don't resent the solitude. Embrace it, because those who cannot stand alone will never be strong enough to lead. Number 5. Your biggest enemy will always be your own fear. You've survived betrayal. You've endured loss. You've overcome obstacles that would have broken others. But after everything you've been through, do you know what still holds you back the most? You. Not the people who doubted you. Not the circumstances that tried to break you. Not even the enemies who worked against you. The greatest battle you will ever fight is the one happening in your own mind, the war between your calling and your fear. Fear disguises itself as logic. It tells you to wait until you're ready. It convinces you that you're not skilled enough, not strong enough, not deserving enough. It keeps you trapped in hesitation, in excuses, in the illusion that you need more time. But the truth is, time is running out. You were not placed here to almost step into your purpose. You were not given your gifts, your vision, and your experiences just to keep them hidden behind self-doubt. Every moment you delay, every time you let fear control you, you sabotage the very mission you were sent here to fulfill. Look around. The world is not short on distractions, on limitations, on reasons to stay small. But chosen ones are not meant to be small. The enemy isn't outside, it's inside. It's the voice that tells you to play it safe, to wait for the perfect moment, to seek validation before you move. Kill that voice. Starve your fear. Because the moment you decide to step fully into your power, you will realize the truth. Nothing was ever stopping you but you. Number 6. You were built for the impossible. There are things you have survived that would have destroyed someone else. Situations that should have broken you, yet somehow you're still here. Why? Because you were never built like everyone else. You were designed for the impossible. Most people crack under pressure. They fold when life gets too hard, when obstacles seem too big, when the weight of the world feels unbearable. But you don't just survive hardship, you become something greater because of it. The struggles that turn others bitter make you wiser. The storms that drown others teach you how to navigate the waves. You've already seen it in your own life. Look back at the moments you thought you wouldn't make it through. The times when everything was stacked against you, when every sign pointed to failure. Yet somehow you found a way, and that wasn't luck, that was you. That was the supernatural strength buried inside you, revealing itself exactly when you needed it most. This is what separates you from the rest. The world has convinced people that struggle is a sign to stop, that pain means they should turn back. But for you, struggle is an initiation. It's a test, a sharpening process, proof that you're being forged into something rare. Because only those built for the impossible are given impossible paths. But here's the truth. Most people will never understand this. They will tell you to slow down, to take the easy route, to stop pushing so hard. They will project their own fears onto you because they can't imagine withstanding what you have. But that's because they weren't built for it. You were. You were never meant for a life of ease. You weren't designed to blend in, to take the safe road, to settle for mediocrity. You were wired to break barriers, to face the unthinkable, to conquer what others run from. And that's why your journey has never been normal, because neither are you. So the next time life throws the impossible at you, don't ask, why me? Instead, remind yourself, this is what I was made for. The things that break others will refine me. The challenges that seem insurmountable are the very things that will reveal my true strength. Because the truth is, you've been walking through fire your whole life. And yet, here you are, not burned, not broken, but stronger than ever. That's not an accident. That's proof of who you really are. Number 7, you are here to collapse systems, not serve them. From the moment you arrived in this world, something in you felt different. You've never fully accepted the way things are. You've questioned the rules, the structures, the so-called truths that everyone else blindly follows. And that's because you weren't sent here to serve the system. You were sent here to dismantle it. Society is built on invisible cages, rules that keep people small, obedient, and afraid to step out of line. These systems weren't designed to empower people, they were designed to control them. But you were born with eyes that see through the illusion. You instinctively know when something doesn't make sense, when something is unfair, when something is keeping people from realizing their true power. And that's why you've always felt resistance. The world does not welcome disruptors. It rewards those who follow the script, who don't ask too many questions, who do as they're told. But chosen ones, we don't play that game. We don't exist to uphold broken systems. We exist to expose them. But here's the truth. Breaking free isn't enough. You weren't just meant to escape. You were meant to lead. And leading requires destruction. It requires tearing down the false narratives, the outdated beliefs, the structures that were never real to begin with. It requires courage, the kind of courage that doesn't seek approval, that doesn't fear rejection, that refuses to shrink for the comfort of others. You've been conditioned to fear destruction, to see it as chaos, as something dangerous. But destruction is necessary. You cannot build something greater until you first remove what is weak, what is corrupt, what no longer serves the higher purpose. So stop fearing the collapse. Stop trying to fit into systems you were born to outgrow. Your mind, your energy, your very existence is a threat to the status quo, and that is exactly why you must step fully into your power. Because the moment you stop fearing destruction, you become the architect of something greater. Number 8, your energy will terrify the unready. You don't have to say a word. You don't have to explain yourself. Just by existing, by walking into a room, by being who you are, you make people uncomfortable. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because your energy exposes what they've been trying to hide. Most people spend their lives avoiding their own depths. They distract themselves with shallow conversations, meaningless routines, and empty validation, because facing the truth would require them to change. And change is terrifying for those who aren't ready. But then you show up. Your presence alone forces them to see the gap between who they are and who they could be. It reminds them of the dreams they abandoned, the strength they never developed, the lies they've told themselves just to feel comfortable. And instead of being inspired, many will react with fear, jealousy, or even hostility, because it's easier to reject you than to confront their own reflection. They will call you too much. They will say you're intimidating, arrogant, or difficult. Not because you are any of those things, but because they feel something around you that they don't feel with others, and that's the difference. You're not like others. You don't shrink to make people comfortable. You don't water yourself down just to be accepted. You carry a raw, undeniable energy that shakes people awake, whether they want to wake up or not. But here's what you must understand. This is not your burden. You are not here to make people comfortable. You are not responsible for their reaction to your presence. You are here to be who you were born to be. And the right people, the ones who are ready, the ones who are growing, the ones who are hungry for truth, will recognize you. They will not fear you. They will rise with you. So let them be uncomfortable. Let them misunderstand you. Let them project their fears onto you. None of it is your concern. Your only concern is walking fully in your power, knowing that those who are meant for you will never be afraid of your light. Number 9. You are the end of a cycle and the beginning of a revolution. You didn't just show up in this lifetime by chance. You were sent here with a purpose. one that is bigger than you, bigger than your personal struggles, bigger than anything you've been told to believe about yourself. You are here to end what has held generations before you in chains and to begin something that has never been done before. Look at your lineage. Look at the patterns that have repeated themselves: fear, scarcity, limitation. Look at the cycles of struggle, of settling for less, of believing that survival is the best that can be hoped for. These cycles didn't start with you, but they are meant to end with you. You are the fork in the road, the one who was born different, who sees things others do not, who feels a calling that cannot be ignored. You were never meant to follow the same script, to repeat the same mistakes, to carry the same burdens without question. You are the one who turns fate into a choice. But make no mistake, being the cycle breaker is not easy. It means stepping into the unknown when everyone else clings to familiarity. It means being misunderstood, doubted, even resented, because people fear what they do not understand. It means carrying the weight of generations on your back, not to be crushed by it, but to transform it into something new. You will be tested. You will face resistance. But that's how you'll know you're on the right path, because the old world does not collapse without a fight. And yet, here you are, still standing, still rising, proof that you were made for this. You are not just one person breaking free. You are an entire revolution in human form. Every choice you make to rise above, to reject fear, to demand more, it sends a shockwave through time itself. It shifts the future. It rewrites history. So don't doubt why you are here. You are here to end what has held others back. You are here to begin what no one before you was able to. You are not repeating the past. You are creating something entirely new. Number 10. You will lose everything fake before you gain anything real. If you are truly stepping into your purpose, be prepared. Life is about to strip away everything that doesn't belong. People, beliefs, habits, attachments, anything that isn't real, anything that isn't aligned with your highest path will start to fall apart, and it won't be gentle. You will lose relationships you thought were unbreakable. You will watch familiar routines become unbearable. You will feel a deep sense of discomfort, as if the very ground beneath you is shifting, and that's because it is. You are not being punished, you are being purified. The false layers, the illusions, the distractions, everything that was never truly yours must be removed before the real can take its place. Think about it. How can you carry dead weight into a destiny that requires you to be light? How can you hold on to false friendships, empty validation, or limiting beliefs and still expect to walk in power? You can't. That's why the faster you let go, the faster you rise. But here's the hardest part. Many of the things you lose won't look fake at first. Some of them felt safe. Some of them gave you a sense of belonging. Some of them even looked like love. But when the foundation isn't real, collapse is inevitable. And when it collapses, don't chase after the rubble. Instead, trust that what is meant for you is on its way. Because once the false is gone, the real begins to reveal itself. Real purpose, real strength, real people who see you for who you are, not for who they want you to be. The kind of peace that isn't dependent on circumstances. The kind of power that doesn't require performance. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. But what is waiting for you on the other side is worth everything you had to lose. Number 11. You must decide to be who you were meant to be. No one will give you permission. There is a version of you, the real, unapologetic, powerful version, that has always existed, just waiting for you to decide to become it. But here's the catch. No one is going to give you permission. No one is going to hand you a certificate that says, okay, now you can be who you were born to be. That's not how this works. The world loves to make you wait. It loves to tell you that the perfect moment is just around the corner, that one day the stars will align and you'll have all the validation you need. But that's a lie. There is no perfect moment. There is no grand announcement. The world won't give you a sign that says, now is the time to step into your purpose. The only thing standing between you and the life you were meant to live is your decision. The moment you decide to stop waiting for approval, stop seeking permission, and stop questioning your worth, is the moment everything begins to shift. The universe is waiting on you. It's waiting for you to claim what has always been yours. Your power, your purpose, your potential. It has always been there, quietly waiting for you to step forward, to say, yes, I will take what is mine. I will show up fully, unapologetically, and be the person I was born to be. Because here's the truth. The world will try to make you play small. It will tell you to wait for the right moment, for the perfect circumstances, for someone to validate your journey. But none of that matters. The only thing that matters is your decision. And when you decide to be who you were meant to be, everything will fall into place. You'll find the courage you never knew you had. You'll attract the right people, the right opportunities, the right energy. But it all starts with one thing, your decision. So stop waiting. Stop asking for permission. Your greatness is yours for the taking. Step into it. Numbers 12. Your true power lies in what you cannot fake. The world is full of performers, people who wear masks, say the right things, and do whatever it takes to be accepted. They chase influence, approval, and validation. But here's the truth. Influence is temporary. It fades, it shifts, it depends on trends, opinions, and the ever-changing expectations of others. But authenticity is immortal. The moment you stop trying to be what the world expects and start standing fully in who you are, something shifts. Your energy changes, your presence carries weight. People can feel when someone is real, and in a world drowning in artificiality, realness is power. Think about it. Why do certain people leave a mark long after they're gone? It's not because they followed the crowd. It's not because they played it safe or sought approval. It's because they dared to be exactly who they were, unapologetically and without compromise. That's the difference between those who are forgotten and those who become legends. But here's the catch. Stepping into your raw, unfiltered truth isn't easy. It means letting go of the need to be liked. It means losing people who only loved the version of you that fit their comfort zone. It means risking judgment, misunderstanding, and even rejection. And that's why so few do it, because it takes courage. But once you do, you become unstoppable. When you are real, you don't have to chase opportunities. They find you. You don't have to beg for connection. The right people recognize you. You don't have to force success. It flows to you because you are finally in alignment with your true power. The world does not need more copies. It does not need more scripted perfection. It needs you, the real you, the unshaken, unfiltered, unafraid you. Because that version of you, that's the one that was born to change everything. Number 13. You will be called insane before you are called a genius. History has made one thing clear. Those who change the world are always misunderstood at first. Before they are praised, they are ridiculed. Before they are admired, they are doubted. Before they are called a genius, they are called insane. Why? Because true vision disrupts the comfort of the ordinary. It forces people to see beyond what they've been conditioned to accept. And most people fear that. They don't reject you because you're wrong. They reject you because your existence challenges everything they thought was right. Think about the greatest minds, the revolutionaries, the innovators, the ones who reshaped reality itself. They were laughed at, doubted, even demonized. Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, Galileo, Steve Jobs, all labeled crazy before the world caught up to their brilliance. What do they all have in common? They kept going. They didn't waste time explaining their vision to small minds. They built it. They proved it. And eventually the same people who mocked them had no choice but to respect them. And here's where most fail. They wait for approval before they act. They hesitate, trying to make their purpose make sense to people who will never understand it. But if you are waiting for permission, for validation, for the world to get it, you are already failing your purpose. Because your purpose is not to fit in. It's to lead. The truth is, not everyone is meant to see your vision. Not everyone can, and that's okay. Stop explaining yourself to people who lack the capacity to understand. Stop seeking approval from those who secretly fear your greatness. Their doubt does not define you. Their rejection is not a reflection of your worth. You were given your vision for a reason. It was not a conference call. It was a direct message to you. Act on it. Build it. Prove it. Because the world doesn't need another person playing it safe. It needs you, the disruptor, the pioneer, the one who refuses to shrink just to make others comfortable. So let them call you crazy. One day, they'll call you a genius. As I wrap up, you are not here by accident. Your birth was not a random event in the grand scheme of the universe. You are a force, a light, a catalyst for change. And now, it's time to awaken to the truth of who you are and why you were chosen. You were born for a reason far greater than anything you've been led to believe. The struggles, the pain, the challenges, they weren't punishments, they were preparations. They were lessons, tools, and markers on the path that's been carved out just for you. You have something unique inside of you, something the world has been waiting for. But here's the key. You must choose to step into that power. No one will hand you a blueprint. No one will give you permission. You must decide to claim what is yours and embrace the purpose that's been embedded in you from the start. It's not going to be easy, but nothing worthwhile ever is. The world will try to distract you, to convince you that you're ordinary. But you are far from ordinary. You were born to challenge the status quo, to break through barriers, and to leave an impact that echoes through generations. You may feel isolated, misunderstood, or even lost at times, but that's because you are different. And that difference is your power. The world is waking up to the fact that people like you are the ones who change everything. You're not meant to fit in. You are meant to lead, to show others that there is another way, a higher way, a way that only you can walk. So, chosen one, it's time. Your purpose is calling you, and it has been all along. You were never meant to follow the path everyone else walks. Your path is your own, and it's time to embrace it. Trust that you have everything inside you to succeed. The universe is with you every step of the way. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the world to approve. Step forward now and claim your destiny. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now, and stay blessed.